Welcome everyone to the April EngRes The Gathering. Excited to have you all here. Here's our agenda for today. We're going to do project updates, spotlights, and then some demos and deep dives. If you want to follow along at any point, here's the QR code for our slide deck. You can add comments, leave questions for people, or feel free to use the chat for all of the wonderful things that you have to comment or ask questions on. If you haven't been here before, as a reminder, this is a gathering of engineers, researchers, protocol developers, and community members across the Protocol Labs network working on driving breakthroughs in technology to push humanity forward. We span the R&D pipeline. We come from many different startups, companies, organizations, blue teams pushing forward public goods, and open source projects. We span across all the way from early stage research to large scale production systems and everywhere in between. And what we do here in the PL EngRes working group is share the latest breakthroughs in protocol utility and capability, support network native research and development, and grow our open source projects, networks, and communities. And we aim to support and accelerate all of the folks here who are doing that. A couple of recent things to celebrate, which we'll hear a lot more about during this all hands. We have the recent NV22 Dragon network upgrade that launched just yesterday, actually, earlier today, yesterday, 24th, I think, actually. And we'll hear a little bit more about that later. PhilStore has an awesome, thing to share on their new self-service onboarding platform that launched at Phil Hong Kong. Really awesome. We have updates on both Filecoin and libp2p's RetroPGF rounds, which are underway. Make sure you nominate for libp2p, and we're going to start voting for Filecoin very shortly. Storage has an update on their beta, which is live and out there. Titan has an incentivized testnet to celebrate. And last week, we celebrated the Protocol Labs 10-year anniversary, which has now become this amazing innovation network that we're all part of. Looking forward at some upcoming launches, we're going to hear a lot more from the Textile Basin team on their beta being a first data L2 on Filecoin. Super exciting. We have kind of the next step of the Filecoin RetroPGF project with badge holder voting and actually allocating rewards to the amazing set of projects who applied and participated. There's an interesting new FIP discussion that's pretty active around a proof of retrievable copy, which a lot of us are pretty excited about, adding new capabilities to Filecoin L1. So feel free to jump into the discussion and add your thoughts. And there's also a ton of work that's underway for Filecoin fast finality, completing protocol audits, moving towards final implementation, and landing this in upcoming network upgrade. And if you are looking forward from an events perspective, make sure to mark your calendars for July. We have IPFS Camp and the 4th FilDev Summit, which will be happening in Brussels alongside EthCC. Speaking of events, you can see the whole PL Network events calendar with all of the upcoming events around the world: Consensus, EthCC, DevCon in Thailand, upcoming lab weeks at events.plnetwork.io. A couple of things to highlight coming over the next month. We have a crypto and digital assets summit in the beginning of May. There's a PL meetup happening at Consensus in the end of May, along with a Filecoin Orbit meetup. And then for the entire month of June, there's going to be an amazing gathering happening just north of San Francisco for Edge City. And there's also going to be a neurotech and brain-computer interface focused lab week happening at Edge City. So it's going to be a great place if you're looking forward for breakthroughs. If you are not already familiar with what is Edge City, it is a spin-off of Zuzulu. It's this amazing gathering of researchers, innovators, builders, new startups that work across a whole ton of different fields, from human organization, AI, real-world crypto, health, longevity, bio, and hard tech. And they have a calendar that is now published, with all of these awesome focus areas for the entire month of June. Real world crypto, I believe, is focused in the last week of June. The lab week focused on neurotech, longevity, and bio is going to be the week prior to that. So if you're potentially going to be in the area, please come out and hang out with those of us that will be spending the entire month at EdgeEsmeralda. You can scan the QR code if you want to learn more. All right, without further ado, I will hand it off to our amazing project teams to give updates on how a number of projects in the PL network are pushing forward, starting with libp2p.
There we go. Thank you so much, Molly. As most of you already know, libp2p is a modular network framework built in many different languages and integrated across the Web3 space, including verticals outside of Web3 now. And we're always looking for contributors. Molly, next slide, please. It is always really difficult to get our update to fit on one slide. I know this is a wall of words, so I'm expecting most of you to go back and look at this later. There's only a couple of things I want to point out. The first thing is that we're starting to see real growth in the community after a slow start in 2024. The one thing I want to call out is that in January, I started answering every request I could in the forums and issues and things like that. And others have taken up the call as well. And in the last 30 days, our response time has finally dropped to under 24 hours. So if you ask a question anywhere in libp2p, someone will answer it, probably in a day. And I just want to point that out. That is amazing. That is an incredible SLA. For those of you who want to learn libp2p, one of our community members, Zoe, she just put up a new course on an intro to libp2p on Proto School. We're definitely looking for anybody who wants to volunteer to help us maintain any of the implementations. In the last quarter, we've been able to recruit 2 new Rust maintainers, 1 Python maintainer, and I'm specifically looking for help with the long time lone maintainer of Swift libp2p. He could really use some help. And then the last thing I want to say to keep this under a minute, we've been organizing all of our community meetings and expanding in this space. And I wanted to call out a couple here. So Python libp2p had its second meeting. It's a monthly meeting. We revived it last month, Paul Robinson and I, to get this off the ground again. It's our first revived or newly active project in 2 years. And we'd love to have other people attend. The community call is where it's at. That one's usually our most well-attended community call. We talk about funding, grant opportunities, where the project is, event planning, all that kind of stuff. So if you go to any meeting in the libp2p space, that's the one to go to at least. And then the last one is a brand new one. Excuse me, a brand new one I started up just this week to focus on specifications. It's a light lift. It's a 30-minute meeting once a month. And the goal is to drive consensus around a lot of the outstanding specification discussions happening in that repo. So if you're interested in any of that, I would really like to see your lovely face show up to these meetings. And that's it. So as you guys know, libp2p has our very first RetroPGF round. We're looking for nominations for anybody who's had impact in the development of libp2p from its very beginnings up till now. As Molly pointed out earlier, Protocol Labs just hit its 10-year mark. libp2p's existed for almost that entire time, probably the entire time. So if you've had any impact, any involvement at any point in the past, feel free to nominate yourself and see if you get rewarded by the community for that. Our only ask here is that you go into the libp2p tweet and retweet it, quote, just get it out there. We're trying to amplify the signal so that we get more nominations here. There's $125,000 up for grabs. So again, if you've been around at all in the past, feel free to nominate yourself, and voting will start fairly soon, I think. So you got to get it in quickly.
Awesome.
And that's it, Molly. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. April 30th. You heard it here. If you work on something that benefits libp2p in the community, nominate it now. All right, over to the Basin team to give us an update there.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Molly. Last session, I introduced Project Basin. So here I'll just give a quick kind of update of where we're at. But for those who are new to the idea, Basin is like is a decentralized object storage framework that we're building on IPC. I'll talk about that in a second, for high throughput data. And we're kind of, pegging it as the first data L2 on Filecoin. We're pretty excited about it. Here's a sort of, this is the pitchy slide that's saying, essentially, you got data and you want to store it. It's maybe not ideal for a deal on Filecoin. It's a bunch of small bits of data. It's a bunch of data all at once. It's a bunch of data you've already got on IPFS. You can push it through our L2 and have it stored in a hot layer that eventually gets synced to Filecoin for longer term cold storage, and sort of takes advantage of all of the features of the different layers of that system along the way. So, you know, hot queryable data as you move into the system, and then cheaper longer term storage once you no longer need to access that right away. So if you skip to the next slide, just because this is the EngRes group, I've added a little bit more sort of detail to whet folks' palette. And I tried to use some alliteration, but the nascent one doesn't quite work perfectly. But anyway, what we have working now, Basin is live. It's running. We have DevNets that are scheduled between now and August. We have about 8 DevNet sessions, we're going to call them, where every 2 weeks it's possible that we'll, you know, have a breaking change and wipe data. And then in August, we should have a sort of like stable test net that folks can play with. We're running a custom consensus that is powered by Fendermint, a project that the IPC team is working on, with a few little extra bells and whistles to support high volume, high throughput, sort of big data use cases. And we leverage some of the really cool features of IPC to do things like quorum voting on whether data is actually available, and then soon to actually have full data availability sampling proofs. So that hot data that's not confirmed on Filecoin yet still gets a way for users to know that their data is actually there and available for querying. We're already looking at like well below sub-second latency for like huge volumes of data, with a target. I think we're targeting about 50 gigs a second is our sort of like target value per subnet. So this can actually, like, overall over the network is even higher than that. We've just finished up a Rust SDK, and we're adding some bells and whistles to that. So folks should be able to start playing with it pretty soon, really at the level of like interacting with individual nodes on the network. We're in the process of designing our data availability proof system. So if anyone is interested to learn or interact more with that, please get in touch. And then we're also working hard to get the cold storage flow working in a more automated and automatic way once folks are done with hot data. So next is we'll be releasing an SDK with full support for all of the things you'd want to do. DevNets are live. So what I'm really calling for here is if you want to play around with this, get in touch. We will spin up a DevNet that you can start playing with. It will break. You will lose data. It's going to be fun. You're going to have to wear your cowboy hat, but we're moving really fast. So we'd love to get some folks playing around with it. And if you have a project where you think you could benefit from an S3 style API over top of Filecoin, let us know, because we're also looking for design partners to join us.
Awesome. Feel free to drop a couple links in the chat where people can join. Mosh has dropped a great superhero post. So thank you so much for sharing, Carson. I'm very excited for the next upcoming whole suite of launches. It sounds like every 2 weeks. Pretty fun. Awesome. Over to Filecoin. Jennifer, you want to take us?
Instead of giving an update on the Lotus, I'm actually here to give an update as FilOz, which is a new public good open source Filecoin focused dev team that graduated from PL and formed in April 24th, which Molly and myself are working with a group of amazing Filecoin protocol designers, researchers, engineers, and TPM TSCs who have been working on Filecoin and its ecosystem from like 3 to 7 years already. And we just want to make Filecoin work more useful. And that's why we started this team. We are very new. What's our missions? We want to secure the network, the Filecoin network. We want to be able to upgrade the Filecoin network so it keeps expanding, and the utility and the value created by the Filecoin and it's the builders on top of it and the whole ecosystem that generated by this decentralized storage network. It's not easy to do, and we have been trying to do this a lot, but like it's hard. It's a hard challenge. How are we planning to do things a little bit differently? I'm not going to go through all the details. However, there's a couple things that we are going to focus on as a org mission is as always, we want to be very actively participate and enable people to develop a Filecoin protocol so that it is a strong foundation for people to build storage applications or application that uses storage using Filecoin network. We want to be lower the maintenance and the contribution barrier for open source community to actually join the effort to build a better decentralized storage network for all kinds of like humanity storage use cases. We want to be able to create a good developer and like design discussion alignment venue so that folks care about the same mission as we care about can join together and having brainstorm discussions and driving Filecoin alignment so we can push the mission forward together. And also we understand Filecoin is complicated. It's quite not easy to work with or like, participate in, but we hold a lot of knowledge in our head in this work. We want to be able to share our knowledge with a lot of you guys so that we can build a better technology together and enable different use cases. And last but not least, we do not want to work in silos. We want to be very collaborative. We want to work with you and we want to support all the teams that's building on Filecoin so that, again, we can expand the utility and value created by the Filecoin together. I can go on and on for the next hour. However, Molly did this amazing talk at the Public Good Day last week, I think in San Francisco, and there's a deck where you can read more into how we plan to do that as FilOz link there. Now, very quickly, we are still trying to figure a lot of things out. However, we do understand this is a critical year for Filecoin, and we want to make Filecoin more useful, right? And there's a couple priorities that we want to align with the rest of the community, you guys over here, on the things we think is very important to work together on for Filecoin this year. The first one, most importantly, we want to accelerate the storage adoption. So from our it takes a lot of effort from different perspectives to move the needles on this one. For us, for our team that is like a little bit more focused on the protocol level, we want to be able to enhance the base L1 storage offering for the Filecoin storage network. So it enables builders and startups to build applications and product on top of the Filecoin network. So a couple of things we want to work on is potentially proof of retrieval copy, which there's an ongoing FIP discussion, and we are about to share a proposal with the community in the next 2 weeks. And we want to simplify the data onboarding pipeline, so lower the entry of people putting storage and data on Filecoin. It's easier for you to start a storage offering service on Filecoin in the network, including enabling trustless city as a service provider, DDO, and so on and so forth. And we want to build end-to-end hot storage on ramp, templates, blueprint, and so on and so forth. So it's easier for people who are interested in embedding decentralized storage to actually decide to start their journey using Filecoin instead of just start from like ground zero. So we want to make the entry bar easier for folks. We believe that for Filecoin to be able to interrupt with other chains is very important because we want more builders in the overall Web3 and Web2 ecosystem to be able to use Filecoin network and storage. So a couple focus here, enable trustless, reliable bridge by enabling fast finality first is one of the first things. Be able to get a confirmation of the Filecoin storage from other chains is what that can help enable. We want the ecosystem, the EVM-based ecosystem-based builder can build application easier on Filecoin. One of the things is we want to support is legacy transactions. So more of the tooling that EVM-based builders are familiar with can be supported out of box with Filecoin. Overall,
thank you so much, Jennifer. I know we have a lot of other things, but just I know we have a chunk of other folks want to make sure we can make it through the other announcements. But we're going to be sharing more about the FilOz like specific projects we're taking on very shortly. But you can see the kind of set here, and please do get in touch with us in all of these places if you have questions or thoughts. Thank you. On to Tom for the Phil RetroPGF update.
Excellent. Thank you, Molly. Quick update on FilRetroPGF. So I give you a mini background very quickly first. FilRetroPGF 1 is the first Filecoin retroactive public goods funding round, the first of many, we're hoping. The purpose is to fund and sustain and incentivize the creation of new public goods in the network. Public goods includes things like infra and depths, tooling and utilities, education, protocol R&D, governance, and product and user experience. In the first round, we had 224K fill, which is amazing, pledged by 4 round funders. This includes Titan, Web3 Mine, Filecoin Foundation, and PL. We kicked off the first round on the 8th of April. Since then, we've had 162 nominations submitted on GitHub. 132 of those nominations were distinct and eligible and invited to apply. Of those 132, we went on to receive 109 applications on the website, and these were attested to chain. You can check out the applications that have been received at fil-retropgf.io. Of the 109 received, only 2 were not applicable just because they were not on the invitations list. So we had to reject 2, sadly. Currently, we've moved on from the stage of receiving applications, and now we're in the voting stage. So the voting will happen by badge holders. There are 28 badge holders so far, and we're still waiting on confirmation from a handful more, but this is the stage we're at. Over the course of the next 11 days, badge holders will vote, and then we will see the results, and we will move on to allocation and distribution of funds. So I'm super excited to see how that goes. If you want to have more input in terms of how the rounds evolve, please come and join us on Filecoin Slack at FilRetroPGF, or there's a Telegram group too, which I will put in the chat. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tom. Over to IPFS.
Yep. So Shipyard is an engineering collective that's maintaining 2 most popular SDKs for interacting with IPFS, Helia for JS and Boxo in Go. And that's how we now kind of like frame our update. So on the JS side, we shipped Helia BitSwap v1 with support for sessions, which significantly reduces amount of BitSwap spam effectively. And now all the majority of BitSwap interactions are limited and scoped to a specific DAG or a request. We shipped Helia verified fetch, which is higher level fetch-like abstraction on top of Helia SDK. There's a blog post, and there will be a deep dive at the end of this gathering. So I'll just briefly mention that it's ready for people to start playing with it and building things without having to worry about all the internal abstractions we have. And the verified fetch, we are like building layers like Onion, but on top of verified fetch, we are building service worker gateway and also HTTP gateway that you can run in Node. And both are backed by verified fetch, and they allow us, by having a re-implementation of gateway in a different language, to improve both tooling, libraries, and specifications. On the Go side of things, Kubo 28 shipped, less noisy when it comes to announced addresses. If you have a lot of pins and you want them to be announced faster, now we prioritize those more important CIDs. Not all CIDs are equal. Another things that appeared in recent times on top of Boxo, Rainbow, and some guy. Rainbow is a standalone performant IPFS gateway implementation, and you may not know that, but Rainbow is running IPFS.io, dweb.link, and trustless gateway.link right now. So the gateways are no longer Kubo backed, and V1 is what is running there. So give it a try if you only need a gateway functionality, or even if you want to like scale gateway functionality separately. And we may have a deep dive about that at some point in the future. Some guy is kind of similar, but about delegated routing. And we have an instance as a public good utility at delegated IPFS.dev. And that's my close to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lidel. Yiannis, give us the ProbeLab update.
Hi there, everyone. Quick update on ProbeLab, whose main job is to monitor several networks, among them and centrally IPFS and all of the stuff that Lidel just talked about. So quick update on this. There seems to have been on the top left a slight decrease in the number of DHT server nodes over the last couple of weeks. With a similar increase in the DHT client nodes. So these nodes probably just didn't go too far away. They just became client nodes, which doesn't like the upside here is that if we look on the top left graph, we see that basically the servers that remained in the network became more stable because if we see the gray lines, the gray bars, at the top, they are becoming, shorter, and then obviously the dark blue bars are becoming shorter as well, but by a smaller proportion. So this means that we have more stable nodes in the network. Then on the bottom right, we see that the Amino DHT performance is mostly stable. No news there, no surprises. And then finally, the daily P95 TTFB from the gateways seem to be going down quite a bit, which is probably, an artifact of the great work that the team has done that Lidel mentioned before. The P95 is at less than 50 milliseconds on the IPFS.io and the web.link gateway. I think that's it. You can go to ProbeLab.io and see a lot more about IPNI, about gateways, where requests are coming from, and several other metrics. That's it from me for now. Thank you.
Awesome. Good news. Cool. We are on to our spotlights. So remember, each one of these, please just use 1 minute so that we can get to our 2 deep dives at the end of this with time to spare. So starting first with Konstantin from Titan Network.
Hello everyone again. Now from the Titan Network perspective, to those who are not familiar with us yet, we are a project that brings the pin closer to people. Essentially what we do, we are a digital resource L1 network that creates incentive layer for global idle resources such as storage, bandwidth, and compute. It bundles it together and allows community then to rent those out. We are orchestrating the DePIN cloud services, providing tooling on top of those idle resources around the globe for you to utilize for your own projects, solutions, and build on top of that. Next slide. For that to be made possible, right now, the new announcement from our side, we are launching our second testnet for global edge. We specifically test new edge networks and new edge resources available to the project. You can simply install our application on any type of device, almost any. You cannot install it on iOS yet, but if you have Android phone or any other device, Raspberry Pi, anything, you can participate in the test network that's starting right now. Already by today, we have accumulated more than 127K online nodes available with more than 12 petabytes of storage committed, CPU cores, and 83K unique IP addresses. All of that is an aggregation of many, many nodes across the world. We're truly a DePIN global network. So if you are interested in using that resources or participating in that network, please go over the link or I will drop it in the chat. And if you want to use that resources for your projects, definitely let us know. We are open to collaborate and utilize these sources for the good of everyone. Thank you a lot.
Awesome. Thanks. Definitely go check it out. Marta, tell us about the Fiddle Colo.
Hi, everyone. Apologies, I'm on my phone, so can't be on camera. But yes, we had a 3-day colo in San Francisco, piggybacking on some of the amazing events that were happening in San Francisco prior to that. So managed to get Molly and Juan and Lauren and Megan and Danny and the governance team together, which was amazing. We discussed a lot of things around how can we make Filecoin Plus or Phil Plus an actual good program and turn around what everybody thinks. We fully acknowledge that people don't love Plus. We are trying to change this, and this is the mission of Fiddle, I guess. Most important things that possibly are interesting for people's call are around what we decided to be our priorities for FIDL, which stands for Filecoin Incentive Design Labs. To continue our journey of automating and bringing on-chain as much as possible the whole journey of clients and allocators and everyone participating and benefiting from FIL Plus program. We also are planning to drive to building an efficient end-to-end experience for clients, storage providers, and allocators, and that means building a lot of tools, a lot of dashboards and ways for people to really easily participate in FIL Plus without even almost without knowing that they are participating in FIL Plus. We want to increase the visibility of the system, providing better tools and dashboards, focusing on unblocking good actors. There are many good actors that get cut out from the program just because they behave the same way that bad actors that are pretending to be good actors are behaving. And the kind of immediate thing that we are hoping to put out basically next week, hopefully, is requests for allocators, where we actually specify what kind of allocators the governance team would like to see. This would be things like allocators that are automated through GitHub requests or through WeChat even, or things that are, or allocators that are much more focused on, or market-based ones, where the data cap that you receive is somehow connected to either staking or certain fees and so on and so forth. So I'm very hopeful. I took away from the whole meeting that actually there is a lot that we can do to try and work on the program, and as soon as we get it in a good shape, then we can rebrand it and nobody will remember about FIL Plus, the old FIL Plus.
Cool. There's a couple of questions in the chat to get some more details, but awesome. And thanks so much for sharing, Marta. Looking forward to hearing more soon. All right, everyone, let me know if this video from the Phil Hong Kong team comes through or if you're missing audio.
Hi, everyone. I'm Irma from ND Labs. I'm excited to share with you all our results and experience from Phil Hong Kong. For attendance, we had a total of 826 registration on Luma, with over 400 attendees join us. Especially this year, attendance different from the last year, with more people from external ecosystem. Some folks came to the event with their questions and concerns. At that time, they were able to find someone who could address their concerns, whether through response from the Philcoin Foundation, Philcoin official team, or active engagement from other project developers. From organizer perspective, Phil City design system did really great job. It saved us time and cost. And we are excited about the lessons learned, and we look forward to applying them to future events. And thank you guys. I'm really looking forward to see you guys next time. See ya.
Awesome. Thanks, Irma. And huge thanks to the ND Labs team and FF for making Phil Hong Kong happen. Sounds like an awesome gathering. Over to Kenton on Field Storage and D-Store collaboration.
Awesome. Thanks, Molly. Ken from the D-Store team here. Got some exciting news. We are working with Filecoin SP Seal Storage and an industry university cooperative research center called CyberSmart to explore the potential of decentralized storage to enhance the integrity and security of data in AI systems. Very buzzworthy topic. The research project findings will, I think, really enable us to enter the AI data storage conversation in a compelling and actionable manner, just really allowing us, I think, to have some strong thought leadership efforts and ultimately to allow us to run some campaigns to really help with lead generation for folks who are really interested in leveraging decentralized storage to add integrity to the data that they're creating. So watch this space. I've sent a link to the chat so you guys can read the official announcement. But yeah, we're really excited about this one.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Charles, tell us a bit more about ChainNode.
Hi, this is Charles. So yes, we're recently building the cool product called ChainNode. It's aiming like a backup most important blockchain layer 1 data to the archive on Filecoin storage providers. So we have already finished the work of 11 chains. We're looking forward to expand it to more chains. Currently, like we get over 750 snapshots 400 terabytes of data and 180,000 CIDs, backup over 205 providers. The core features like we upload those snapshots to IPFS node with IPLD format and trunk the data with 32 gigabyte sectors and archive on at least 4 storage providers. We have an auction engine be able to distribute all the data to those community providers, and thanks for the 5+ give us the quotation to do the work, and we'll continue working on it to generate the SDKs, the browsers for viewing and download. Next step. Yeah, this is the current UI we have. People be able to download the copies from the archives and rebuild it. We also have a program to help the blockchain user to rebuild the entire chain based on the snapshots. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Super exciting to see, and great to see all of these Web3 chains having secure data storage on Filecoin. Over to Andy. Tell us more about the Curio beta.
Hi, everybody. So Lotus Miner and Boost teams joined together to become Curio Storage Incorporated. And we are proud to release the beta of what we've been building for over 6 months, some of which was before the company was even established. Curio beta is intended to be your new miner. We have a way to set it up so that there are no single points of failure, meaning you can unplug a random machine on your way home and it'll keep working over the weekend. Scale will not be restricted by any one node size. We've got multiple miner IDs could share a single set of hardware for proof of replication, for example. It better utilizes existing hardware by doing more things in parallel than we used to do. A lot of bits and pieces are being managed when they weren't before, like automatic cleanup of old sectors. Compared to Lotus Miner, we now have both fine and coarse configuration options. So you don't have to look at 1,000 options to get the thing working. There's just a very simple way. We tried to make it real easy to come over from Lotus Miner with a guided setup, which even though it's command line, it still speaks Mandarin and Korean. And naturally, it is Boost compatible. Test drive it today. It's on the Lotus branch under release / Curio beta right there. It can run on any network, although it is a beta. So, certainly test before you deploy on anything important. And of course, we have a UI, which is a big difference from before. So you can see the state of things quite easily.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Andy. Excited to hear in the next EngRes All Hands, the feedback from all of the storage providers trying it out and letting us know what we think. Cool. Mara, tell us about the Phil story on-ramps.
Yeah, so we are just absolutely excited about where we are and what's happening. We're building. The main thing that we're looking to do is bring paid deals onto Filecoin through the DStore marketplace. And there are just a couple of things. There's a lot of words on the slide, but a couple of things that I want to really talk about. One is we are adding into the DStore buyer's experience a help me choose user experience, which is going to ask and interact with buyers in a simple, straightforward way, gathering what their requirements are, and then being able to guide those buyers to the proper SPs on the back end who can fulfill their needs. We are also right now working with Decentrally, and we have a private beta running right now, but we will be taking that GA by the end of the quarter. And essentially it is a drag and drop, very much like a Google Drive type experience on Filecoin. You can share files, you can sync files, and you can archive files all in one place. Super exciting. And the last thing is that we are undertaking a state of decentralized storage, and we're going to be surveying 200 Web 2 type folks to understand where they are. And we will release this to the entire ecosystem so everybody can see and benefit from where the outside world looking in is viewing decentralized storage. Anything else, feel free to reach out to me directly.
Woohoo! Thanks, Mara. Awesome progress. All right, James, last spotlight. Tell us about FilDev Summit number 4.
Thank you, Molly. Hey, everybody. This is James from the FilOz team. And as Molly says, I'm here to talk about FDS4, which is happening at FCC in beautiful Brussels at the Radisson Grand Place Hotel from July the 9th to the 11th this year, 2024. We have our FilDev IO site, which you may have seen from previous FDSs, is going to be updated soon. We already have the Luma invite. If you'd like to get your tickets now, please scan that QR code or head over to the Luma FDS4 link to make sure you get your ticket early. We have a bunch of tracks that we're really looking forward to. Welcome to Filecoin, Filecoin 101, Filecoin to PIN, Computing AI, Future of Filecoin and Protocol Evolution, Empowering Developers and Filecoin Innovation, Incentive Structures and Revisiting Utility and Participation, and Security Compliance in Decentralized Systems. I think it's a really cool time to be hosting this event. If you're at Denver, you wouldn't have been able to miss the deep in summer narrative that was really rocking, still is. And we'd really love your help to kick things off this deep in summer in style with an amazing 3 days of all things Filecoin. We're looking for track leads, speakers, and sponsors. And if you're at all interested, please reach out on Slack to either myself at TippyFlex or Marta from Fiddle, from the Fiddle team at MPG. And you could also subscribe to the FilDev Summit channel and also look out for more announcements over the next few days. We're really looking forward to reconnecting with familiar faces and welcoming as many new faces as possible to the ecosystem. Hopefully see you all in Brussels in a couple of months. Thanks very much.
Woohoo! Can't wait to see you all there. It's going to be a great time. All right, on to our demos and deep dives, starting with the NFT.Storage DAO, which launched a couple of weeks ago. We have a video from Elizabeth to tell us more.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth. I'm CEO of NFT.Storage. I'm talking to you today from Australia, where it's probably about 3 in the morning. So, hi, nice to see you again. You all know NFT.Storage as this branding, right? It's de facto good for NFTs, founded by PL teams in 2021. The product quickly became a go-to tool for creators and minting platforms. They use NFT.Storage to make the off-chain data available across IPFS and store the data in long-term Filecoin deals. Marketplaces, wallets, block explorers use the NFT.Storage gateway to retrieve the images and metadata that appear in their sites. Today, over 660 gigabytes of data that we safeguard. All of this is available for free, 100% for free. If you're wondering how this is viable to offer, especially after NFT.Storage has nucleated from Protocol Labs, you're not alone. I often get asked this question. And this month, we informed existing account holders that we're evolving our offering to help ensure we have a financially sustainable future. Existing users can continue to upload through the 30th of June, and we'll strive to ensure the data continues to be made available across IPFS for that hot storage retrievability and stored in long-term Filecoin deals. But we won't be accepting new signups to this version of NFT.Storage. Instead, we're very excited to share with you today the evolution of NFT.Storage, the product, and the opportunity to join the DAO. Our vision is to preserve all NFTs as timeless. In the new world, users first content address their data using IPFS, mint their NFT collection, and then they send the off-chain data and adjacent NFT information, the contract ID and token ID, for a very low one-time fee per gigabyte of storage. All of this is backed by an on-chain endowment on Filecoin dedicated to paying the long-term Filecoin storage costs. Today, there's a web app for creators, an API for minting We plan to become even more embedded in the minting workflow. Imagine a world where preserving the NFT data through NFT storage is fully integrated with the blockchain as a primitive at the layer 1 or layer 2 level and included in the mint price. This is where we're headed. On the flip side, we can make all of this really valuable information that we capture about the NFTs preserved in NFT storage. Filecoin, the blockchain's EVM compatible, as we all know. So this means we'll be able to trustlessly validate if the NFT is stored in NFT storage, giving end users confidence in where the off-chain data is stored. Now imagine if that information is surfaced in marketplaces and wallets. What if we think bigger and it's at the block explorer level? Now, NFT storage is a public good. Our funding is dependent on revenue from membership, grants, retroactive public good funding. So we need your support. Our application on Gitcoin is going live any minute now. It is in review. The community donates to projects and there's a $300,000 matching pool this time. We know Gitcoin uses quadratic funding. So that means that the money is distributed by the number of people who have donated to a project, not only the donation size. So what we're asking is please take a moment, scan this QR code, enter your email address in the form, and we'll let you know when our application is live and send you a link directly to our application. Please donate 10 cents or $1, any amount. We're looking for everyone to donate just a teeny tiny bit to help our Gitcoin application. Next, if you are a Filecoin retroactive public good badge holder or a friend of a badge holder, please support us, or please tell your friend who's a badge holder to support us. We've onboarded 165,000 accounts whose data has been uploaded to IPFS and Filecoin, and we safeguard over 660 TB of data in NFT storage. The community loves NFT storage and strongly associates our brand with IPFS, kind of like IPFS for NFTs. Now that we've nucleated from Protocol Labs, we need your support in terms of voting and funding. And finally, we want you to help shape the future of NFT preservation. Join the NFT.Storage DAO for as little as $100 as an individual or $1,000 as a company. Choose to engage as much or as little as you want. This 50% off membership code, discount code, is good through the end of the weekend. So please join the DAO today. Make sure you get your 50% off. We will probably never give a discount this steep again because that funding is so important to us, but we really want people from the PL community to be involved. We have some membership options. Take a screenshot of this. It's also on the website. And in terms of why you should be a member, I'm mindful of time here, but basically it's all about being mission aligned, supporting public goods, and engaging with the community. Now, in early April, NFT.Storage and IPFS presented the moment at MoMA PS1 in New York City. It was a private event that explored art, cultural preservation, and NFTs during NFT NYC. It was supported by Protocol Labs, Filecoin, and Filecoin Foundation, and featured bites, drinks, feature sessions, and special presentation of Legible, an exhibit of digital art that revealed the possibilities of art on the blockchain. Jesse Diamani did hot takes in the hot seat, where we asked leaders in the industry, such as Michael Connor from Rhizome, Chris King from Club NFT, Jake Liu from Third Web, Maya Man, who is an artist, and Madeline Piper Point from MoMA, questions like, how can cryptography and decentralized storage actually work together towards cultural preservation artworks? It was an amazing event, and I want to give you a sneak peek of a snapshot of it.
Also here to have an important conversation. Whose duty of care is it to ensure that NFTs are preserved?
We're building a marketplace selling art with time bombs attached to it. digital culture is made up of practices, not objects.
Those people were also like debating about what makes art art. A lot of misperceptions from the quote unquote traditional area of the art ecosystem. So IPFS says, hey, no more file names. We're going to give every piece of data a unique fingerprint, mathematically generated. We call it Airbnb, but for file storage. Our vision for making sure that humanity's data is preserved and accessible long-term.
The blockchain technology is the best technology to preserve information.
So join us and you can play a part in helping shape the future of NFT preservation. All right. One highlight for me at the event was something Maya Mann shared in her talk. She said, we're all walking around the internet, and I just love that. Our event was a unique opportunity to gather all sorts of amazing people that we meet online in one beautiful space to celebrate art, culture, and NFTs. I'd love to meet more of you, to get to know more of you. I am so far across the world, so please reach out. Let's have a Zoom coffee, just catch up. And if you're keen, I'd love to welcome you into the NFT.Storage DAO. Reach out for a chat anytime and see you around the internet, everyone.
Woohoo! Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Excited about this, and we'll connect with you async when it's not 3 o'clock in the morning. On to our Helia deep dive. I know we're just about at time, but if folks want to stay on, that's wonderful. We'll finish it out through the end of this, and wonderful to see you all. Daniel, take it away.
Righto, can you jump on to the next slide? So verified fetch. So one of the big problems that we've seen in the IPFS ecosystem is how hard it is to get users to embrace proper verification of SIDs in the browser. And so what we've seen almost all over the place is that developers just end up calling it a day with trusted gateways. So they drop in a gateway link like IPFS.io or the Cloudflare one, and they think they're kind of doing IPFS, but in reality, that's not IPFS because you're trusting the server to return the content that you're expecting. But there has been sort of a great insight from all of this, and that is that gateways are a great abstraction. They abstract a lot of the complexity of IPFS. And so if we can go to the next slide, I can get to the solution. And so we've sort of taken this insight and we've thought about how can we make it easier for users to verify the content that they're getting, because if they verify, then we can really fully unleash the benefits of IPFS. So we've created this new library called Verified Fetch, and the goal of this library is really to streamline retrieval in browsers and any sort of prolific JavaScript runtime. And it's built on really strong foundations on Helia, which is a sort of modern modular implementation of IPFS in TypeScript and JavaScript by extension. And the cool thing is, and you can see this sort of in the diagram, is that it enables, through verification, you can actually retrieve it from multiple gateways. And so if IPFS.io or it gets censored in your region or is just unreachable for whatever reason, you really get that resilience and the censorship resistance that content addressing in IPFS enables. And so, yeah, if we can go to the next slide. So a little bit more about this. So it's built like, if you're familiar with the Fetch API in browsers, it's really modeled after it. As I mentioned, it's resilient, so it enables multi-gateway retrieval. If one gateway is done, it'll try another one. It offers a really seamless developer experience. We really focus on getting the developer experience right, and then making the implementation work based on that. It's easy to adopt. So if you're used to using gateway URLs, you can just pass them into verified fetch and it'll just work out of the box. And it's built on a lot of recent innovations that we've had in the IPFS ecosystem. So Helia, as I mentioned, trustless gateway spec, delegated routing. These are all ways for us to essentially enable a lot of the benefits of IPFS in browsers without really fully doing everything, because browsers are constrained environments. And so you got to sort of play this trade-off game there. It supports IPNS, DNS link, and ENS. That means you can literally use it to fetch an image from Vitalik's website in a single line. And we've really worked, as I mentioned, on developer experience, but also documentation and ready-to-run examples. And this already is powering, so we've been dogfooding this for a little while now in the service worker gateway. And so this is really like, it's powering real stuff that we believe is going to have immense impact on the IPFS ecosystem and essentially reduce reliance on centralized gateway. And so if we could go to the next slide, we have a number of just like quick examples showing how it abstracts a lot of the complexities around data format complexities. So like, for example, if you're working with JSON and you're publishing JSON data to IPFS, there's about 5 different formats that you can use that are all legit, and they have this sort of nuanced differences. You can use Unix FS, you can use the JSON coder, you can use the DAG JSON and the DAG seaboard. These are all ways to represent JSON. All of that is abstracted for you in there. As I mentioned, DNS link is supported to, in the last example, you see me literally loading the IPFS logo from the Protocol Labs website. And of course, IPNS is also verified in the browser. So that brings us to the next slide, which is where are we going with this? So if we were doing trusted IPFS gateway retrieval, that was kind of like, you know, getting developers to sort of dip their toes into the bath of like working with SIDs, but now everyone knows what a SID is. You know, we've like, people already are like on board. They just want things to be easy. And so we've sort of leapfrogged even the verified retrieval, because we always saw, or at least I saw, verification as a tax that you have to pay. And no one wants to pay tax for no reason. You want to get something in return. And so the way that we sort of like given a reward back to users is with this multi-gateway retrieval. You know, you pay the tax of verification, but then you really start getting the benefits of being able to get the data from anyone without having to trust them, because verification allows trustlessness. So that's where we're at now. We believe we've got something quite special that developers can use today. And this sort of brings us to really the holy grail of where we want to get to, which is verified peer-to-peer gateway retrieval in all browsers, which means that you don't even have to go to the gateway. You can just use this delegated routing endpoint just to find providers for a given SID. Those can be Filecoin providers too. And you can just go straight to the source and fetch it in all browsers. And I think this is like going to have immense impact. So we're working towards getting there. There's a lot of foundations that we have to lay, but we are working on getting all of that under the same API. And so if you start using this today, you'll be able to soon enough get all of these like peer-to-peer, like proper peer-to-peer benefits in the browser under the same API. And so that's it for me. If you go to the next slide, there's a link to the blog post and also to the repo. Thank you.
Woohoo! This is super cool, Daniel. Pumped to see folks get to start using this and make the transition from using kind of the centralized intermediary to actually having it run all locally in the browser and just having magically for them. Super cool. If you guys have any other details on when folks can start trying it out, I'm sure folks are excited. Cool. Well, thank you all so much for attending this EngRes gathering. We're happy to gather all of us together. If you'd like to present at next month's EngRes The Gathering, please get in touch. You can email us at engresadmin@protocol.ai or follow along with our Luma event series to see us all gathered together again a month from now in May. So have a wonderful, wonderful time. And remember, don't wait for the future to happen. Let's build it together. Cheers.